One of the biggest mysteries in the cryptocurrency industry right now is why tokens with seemingly no fundamentals can go on exponential runs, leaving tokens like XRP with obvious utility in the dust for short periods of time. In this video, I want to share with you exactly why that is happening, because we actually got some brand new light shed on this earlier today, and I think it's going to blow your guys' mind to how unsustainable some of these things going on in the background really are. I also want to talk about something very exciting involving an XRP ETF that actually goes live tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss that. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two things really do help out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start this video off and just quickly talk about the XRP ETP that's going live tomorrow. Now, this ETP is actually going to be trading on a Swedish NASDAQ exchange, which is obviously very exciting, but I want to talk about the bigger picture here because I think that's a lot more important. Obviously, an XRP ETP locking up real XRP and being custodied in Coinbase is going to be a massive thing for the XRP ledger. But ultimately, the holy grail for an ETF or an ETP is ultimately being live in the United States. So we're still waiting for an XRP ETP or ETF to go live in the US for the holy grail of piling in people who couldn't get access to XRP prior. And for those of you who don't know, an ETP is just a broader range of investment vehicle, where an ETF is a product under that broad range, kind of like square rectangle thing. So don't worry too much about that terminology. What I want to focus on here, though, is the race to create ETFs and financial products around the cryptocurrency industry, because this is something I'm extremely bullish on right now. What we are watching at a high level is the smaller players starting to take on more risk and start filing for altcoin ETFs. The reason they are doing this is because it is their only chance to beat BlackRock. They understand that BlackRock is going to dominate the industry if BlackRock beats them to ETFs. So therefore, what we're watching right now is a lot of the smaller players in the industry saying, hey, XRP is a premier crypto token. It's a blue chip. Despite a 6-year-long investigation by the SEC, it's still a top 10 coin. We need to get an ETF here before BlackRock does so that they don't end up taking all the AUM away from us. Guys, in response, BlackRock is going to watch one of these ETFs being filed and say, hey, we can't let this small player beat us. We need to hurry up and file so that they don't get approved before we do. What I believe we're about to watch at a high level is a race to see who can create the most crypto ETFs first. And this is going to cause a massive inflow and a tidal wave of demand from ultimately people who couldn't get access to these products prior. Guys, this is super, super exciting, and the investment thesis playing out that we talked about months ago right in front of our eyes. We understood on this channel that the Bitcoin ETF was going to create a race to see who could get the most crypto asset ETFs out there first. I said specifically on this channel that the big institutions didn't care whether it was Bitcoin, XRP, or whatever else. They got fees based off of people adopting these products, and they are going to want to get as many of these products adopted as possible. What we're watching right now is the smaller institutions, like the institution right now filing for this XRP ETP. These institutions are pushing the institutions like BlackRock to keep up, and I think this is going to create a snowball effect where we see more and more of these things launched at an extremely rapid pace. I am more convinced than ever that we are going to see an XRP ETP or ETF live in the United States in the very near future. Guys, this tells me that we're actually a lot closer than many people understand. I want to move on, though, and quickly talk about something that I believe is very, very, very exciting, and that's Ripple actually filing the Binance decision to Judge Torres. This happened just a couple moments ago, so I had to throw it into the video. What is happening here is Ripple is actually citing the judge in the Binance case, where the judge in the Binance case essentially agreed with Judge Torres that the token itself is not the security, it's the way you sell the token, and the SEC's entire theory about the token embodying an investment contract doesn't make any sense. The judge in the Binance case actually specifically called out the SEC for muddying the water, which is hilarious because the SEC has been saying this entire time that everything's clear and obvious. The courts do not agree with that. Meta Law Man actually had a great tweet about this. He said, one never attended law school, the other has a law degree from Harvard. 1, Gary Gensler, the law is clear which tokens are securities. 2, Judge Amy Barron Jackson, the SEC's theory leaves the court, the industry, and future buyers and sellers with no clear differentiating principle between the tokens in the marketplace that are securities and the tokens that aren't. So obviously Gary Gensler is the person here with no law degree. Obviously the judge in the Binance case, the one who said that the SEC is leaving people in muddied water with no clarity and confusion, is the one with a Harvard law degree. And it's just so funny to see every single legal scholar going against the SEC, while Gary Gensler and the SEC continue to try to push this theory that doesn't have any precedent in the court. It really shows that the XRP community has been right since day one. We were pretty much the first people coming out and saying, hey, the token itself is not the security, it's the investment contract. The SEC is dead wrong on this issue. Now, a lot of people said we were essentially only saying that because we were getting attacked by the SEC, but I think this really shows that we have a high-level understanding of all the issues going on here, and we were actually ahead of a lot of the thinking that's happening right now. It's really cool to see these issues playing out in the court and confirming that we were right since day one. In the same exact way that the XRP community took these logical approaches on the designation or the status legally of these assets, I think we're going to see this same thing play out where we end up being right when it comes to institutional adoption and utility of these assets. A lot of people say, oh, these are only for retail. Institutions aren't going to use these things. The only thing that's important is meme coins. The only thing that's important is unsustainable DeFi. Guys, I have a feeling that's not going to end up being true, and things like moving money faster, more efficiently, using protocols that allow liquidity for non-liquid assets, working with the big institutions, working with the governments, that's the obvious strategy that's going to win out. So in the same exact way, the XRP community was kind of called crazy when we said the XRP token is never going to be a security. I think the same thing is going to play out for utility. We were just right before the rest of the industry, and we understood these complex topics that most people just simply hadn't even wrapped their head around yet. Guys, I want to talk about one last thing. It's kind of the main purpose of this video because I think it's so critical that every one of you walks away with an understanding of this by the end of this video. And that is what different chains, what different protocols are focused on in the given moment. Guys, we found out today that Polkadot paid $500,000 to CoinMarketCap to get an animated logo on the CoinMarketCap page. This is the exact thing I talk about when I say that some projects are focused on retail and some projects are focused on institutions. Polkadot thought that it was a good use of their marketing budget to spend $500,000 on essentially making a cool logo for retail to see on coinmarketcap.com. For me, that is a colossal waste of money. Ultimately, it's just trying to get retail into your project to cause a short-term pump without them actually understanding any of the fundamentals of what's being built here. It's just trying to get dumb liquidity to come in and buy up the token. It's completely unsustainable, and it's focused on the wrong people, in my opinion. I believe that the cryptocurrency industry is going to change the rails for the financial system. It's going to be used at a high level to move money faster and more efficient. And marketing your logo on CoinMarketCap to a bunch of retail participants isn't going to change any of that. Ripple's strategy since day one was to market to large institutions, market to large banks, market to governments to get them to adopt these protocols. Now guys, most of these big institutions and governments are slow moving. We understand they've been testing on the XRP ledger for a very long time, but haven't ultimately stepped in a really big way. This has caused a lot of FUD for people because they see Polkadot having an animated logo on CoinMarketCap, people running into the project, retail getting excited, and people saying, oh, this isn't a live project. This is a project with a lot going on. Something like the XRP ledger, they don't have an animated logo. They don't have that retail liquidity coming in, and therefore that's a bad project. Guys, we're going to see over time which one of these strategies ends up being right, but I am extremely confident that Ripple's approach to build long-term utility, long-term value, and actual use cases for institutions to bolster the network over the long run is going to be the strategy that wins out rather than doing gimmicky things to get retail to come in for short-term liquidity needs. I really do believe that the playbook Ripple is following is the same exact playbook that people like Apple, Amazon, and Google used building out the internet. They weren't focused on flashy things like the pets.com, trying to pump people into their stock and get that short-term liquidity. They were focused on real utility and building out something that was far more powerful than could be realized in the matter of a couple months or years. They were focused on building deep utility that would cause their products to create network effects that were almost impossible to get away from. I believe that's what Ripple is doing right now at a high level for the plumbing of the financial system, working with the biggest players to implement this. And this is where they are spending their marketing budget. They are spending it with the large institutions, teaching them about these protocols, teaching them how they can adopt them, and integrating them at a level where they will be systemic for a long period of time and undisruptible. Guys, things like getting people to run in because of a flashy logo, just wait until the next flashy logo comes around and everyone leaves that project and goes to the next one. When it comes to an institution redirecting their payment flows over a cryptocurrency network, guys, those are things that have been in place and will be in place for the next 50 to 20 years. This is what long-term sustainability is. This is deep network effects, not paying people to get a flashy logo on a website. Guys, I hope this makes sense and really lets you know how early we are, but also how transformational I believe Ripple's strategy is going to be to the long-term success of the XRP ledger. Guys, thank you so much for coming. And for now, Mickle out.